I'm usually the only one who really cares. I'm like a lifeboat. And I will tell you, I think I have the hardest job of any professional. I'm not like a cardiologist. I'm not even like an oncologist. No one's ever had.
Guilty.
Every case is different. Every case is fact-specific. But it's never my job to determine whether my client is 100% guilty or 100%.
I'm going to do everything that I can to move his case as quickly as possible. I understand that the government has a great amount of electronic devices that they have to download and provide.
A bit about Agnifalo's history. He received a bachelor's degree in philosophy and political science from Connecticut College in 1986. In 1990, he received his Juris degree from Brooklyn Law School, and while there, even received the American Jurisprudence Award for Outstanding Performance in Trial.
Can you come say a few words to the microphone? Who's going to be watching Jackie and Delilah? Put it down in front.
I think that we made the points that we've been wanting to make. I think it came out. Mr. Combs is a fighter.
I imagine it's thousands. I mean, you know, and I'm not really sure what the baby oil has to do with anything. I don't know where the number 1,000.
John Diddy Combs is no stranger to controversy. But this time, it's his own attorney dropping a bombshell. What could possibly make a high-profile lawyer step away from one of the biggest stars in the game? Stick around as we uncover the shocking courtroom confession that's got everyone talking. Trust me, you would want to miss the details. But of course, before we go any further, make sure first that you subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell for more updates and videos like this. Let's get started.
Is exactly what they are going to try and do.
Right, and he has brought in new lawyers to try and get this done.
Here's
Get to the lawyers in a second. I just don't know how has the argument changed?
25 of the 120 individuals who are in these cases were minors at the time of the acts complained of.
We believe in him wholeheartedly. He didn't do these things. This was a 10-year relationship. There's no coercion. There's no crime. There's basically just, you know, someone who brought a civil case and now is finding themselves as a witness in a criminal
For
case.
the past several years, Agnifalo has been lead counsel for the Agnifalo Intrator law firm. That leads us to Agnifalo's notable cases, beginning with the federal trial of NXIVM cult leader Keith Raniere.
Picture this a slow-motion car crash you just can't look away from. That's the scene surrounding pdiddy right now, his once solid empire. It's shaking like it's built on jelly, with scandal after scandal dropping like beats in a rap battle. Every day seems to bring a new bombshell, and now the feds are closing in. As for Diddy's lawyer, word on the street is he's had enough stepping down after what must have been countless sleepless nights with his defender out of the picture. The big question is what's next?
Or the CIA, you're like, okay, we're looking for people who have gone through these things in their life that have curated this kind of like personality type.
Well, isn't it just like part of the gig? Like here's
He's ready, he's focused. He has been ready to defend this case since he first found out about this case. Nothing has changed from his perspective. I obviously would much prefer to fight this case with him out of jail, and we are going to try to bring that about through additional legal process.
Diddy is facing a storm of lawsuits and accusations, but his legal team isn't backing down. They've called the claims baseless, labeling them as money grabs, and maintain his innocence. At his first pretrial hearing, Diddy pleaded not guilty.
Innocent. I believe he's innocent, and we're going to fight this case with all of our might until we don't have to fight any longer. We're not giving up by a long shot. I told Mr. Combs I'm going to try and get his case to trial as quickly as possible.
I don't think it was 1,000. Let's just say it's a lot, okay?
What prosecutors were arguing is not only does your client pose a flight risk, because obviously he's incredibly wealthy, has access to planes and a lot of staff, even though you said he turned over his passport to you months ago. They were also worried about him being able to interfere with witnesses and calling them. And so I guess the question is, how do you assure the court that that won't happen if prosecutors are saying this is someone who's attempted to bribe security staff and has already and interfered with witnesses?
So I think the most important thing, even more important than the passport, is that Mr. Combs came to New York on September 5th. As soon as we realized that this indictment was going to be coming down in a matter of weeks, maybe months, but sometime soon.
When Judge Robin Ternofsky denied his bail, He calmly sipped some water, glanced at his family, and was escorted out of the courtroom. His lawyer, Mark Agnifilo, made it clear that Diddy isn't giving up, saying Mr. Combs is a fighter. He's going to fight this to the end. He's innocent. Agnel also plans to appeal the bail decision.
Everything's on the government's timetable, nothing's on the defendant's timetable, and they're going to have to accommodate me and him and give us a quick trial, and I'm going to be pushing for that.
Acknowledging Diddy's flaws, the lawyer admitted to his past struggles with substance use and unhealthy relationships, but pointed out that he's now in therapy and receiving treatment. Agillo suggested the case revolves around a long-term relationship that ended badly due to infidelity, subtly referring to Diddy's decade-long relationship with Cassie Ventura.
Lawsuit where she talked about these freak-off parties that he would have at hotels in, she said, in Atlanta, Miami, L.A., and New York.
And they were essentially, but the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, who filed this, laid this out at a press conference and specifically addressed the freak-offs.
The freak-offs
Regarding the controversial freak-offs, Agillo argued that they were consensual, stating, "Is it exploitation? Not if everyone wants to be there." He claims the authorities weren't intruding on Diddy's personal life. As for the firearm allegations, he's clarified they belong to his hired security and not Diddy himself. Similar accusations in other lawsuits have also been strongly denied by Diddy and his team.
First of all, what was your reaction to this newest and latest allegation of more than 100 additional victims?
Hi, Nicole. Nice to be with you. You know, it's the proverbial snowball coming down the hill. You know, when you've been living a lifestyle, not just one or two incidences, but a lifestyle which Diddy seems to have led, there's a lot of people, a lot of activity out there. And to be honest, I don't think it's over. I don't think we're at the precipice yet. We're going to see these new claims come out in different states, different jurisdictions. The additional ones will follow. And people are kind of jumping on the bandwagon. And the indictment and the initial civil lawsuits gave a lot of these victims the courage to come forward. There's probably why they didn't come forward before. And now we're seeing it.
threatened and coerced victims to get them to participate in the freak-offs. He used the embarrassing and sensitive recordings he made of the freak-offs as collateral against the victims.
Now, they say they found
Shaw Diddy Cole's lawyer recently admitted he broke jail phone rules while at Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center, MDC. According to Vibe, prosecutors accused him of using other inmates' phone access cards, PXS, to contact witnesses and sway public opinion during his legal battles. Diddy's attorney Alexander Shapiro countered these claims, explaining that sharing PAC numbers is a common practice at MDC and doesn't amount to obstruction of justice. She also argued that there's no proof Diddy's calls were any different from those he made using his own PAC. In a recent twist, Judge Arun Submarinian ordered prosecutors to destroy notes taken from Diddy's cell during a raid. Prosecut ARS had argued that the notes were part of their case. But this move highlights the ongoing tensions in the legal battle. Vibe reported meet Mark Agnifilo. Diddy's lead attorney, Mark Agnifilo, earned his bachelor's degree in philosophy and political science from Connecticut College in 1986. As noted in his law firm's resume, he went on to receive his JD from Brooklyn Law School in 1990, where he was awarded the American Jurisprudence Award for Excellence in Trial Advocacy.
Agnifilo stayed with the U.S. Attorney's Office until 2006, when he began work at the law office of Benjamin Brafman, who, by the way, repped Diddy in his trial regarding the New York nightclub shooting. You may remember Diddy was charged with illegal violations and bribery charges in that case after a shooting broke out near Times Square in 1999.
And Agnifilo is a member of various bar associations, including the New York State Bar, the State of New Jersey Bar, and the U.S. District Courts for the Southern and Eastern Districts of New York and the District of New Jersey. He's also admitted to the Supreme Court of the United States and the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit. Before representing Diddy, Agillo handled many high-profile cases. He defended Keith Raniere, the founder of NXIVM, which started as a multi-level marketing company, but was later described as a cult-like group. Raniere faced charges of exploitation and racketeering, and in 2019 was sentenced to 120 years in prison and fined $1.75 million.
His innocence, he does plan on appealing, and we do think we have some substantial grounds for an appeal. I think Keith is comfortably in that class of defendants who should not one day die alone in prison. And so a fair sentence, I think, would give him the ability to have hope that one day.
Agillo also represented Roger Ng, a former Goldman Sachs employee convicted in 2022 of bribery and corruption related to the Malaysian Sovereign Wealth Fund during closing arguments. The prosecutor stated the harm to the people of Malaysia is immeasurable. It is deeply unfair to everyone else who plays by the rules as reported by the LA Times.
A double big who lied repeatedly and was only going to testify against Ng to save himself, is what he said.
Patricia, what are the expectations on what else we can hear through these proceedings? We're expecting this to go for potentially another month or longer.
Yeah, what the government is starting to do right now is they have a current Goldman Sachs banker that worked on the 3 transactions, bond transactions behind 1MDB.
Ng's defense team argued that he was being unfairly blamed for others' crimes. Roger is basically the fall guy for this whole thing, Agillo said at the time on September 16th following Diddy's arrest. Agnifilo spoke to TMZ expressing frustration with the case. We are disappointed with the decision to pursue what we believe is an unjust prosecution of Mr. Combs by the U.S. Attorney's Office. He said Agillo described Diddy as an imperfect person, but not a criminal. He also told TMZ that Diddy had voluntarily moved to New York the previous week to assist with the investigation. These are the acts of an innocent man with nothing to hide, and he looks forward to clearing his name in court. Agnil explained Agillo, who previously faced federal prosecutors in a RICO case involving NXIVM leader Keith Rainier, has a history of defending high-profile clients such as Martin Shackle, Dominique Strauss-Kahn, and Roger Ng, having spent nearly 20 years working with ex-Harvey Weinstein lawyer Ben Brofman. Agnifilo brings significant experience to this cash case. The big question now is how the Powerhouse Legal team plans to tackle the serious accusations of human exploitation.
I'm usually the only one who really cares. I'm like a lifeboat. And I will tell you, I think I have the hardest job of any professional. I'm not like a cardiologist. I'm not even like an oncologist. No one's ever happy to see me when they first come there. But unlike people, just as you said, unlike people who are sick, they have a support system in place. People rally to the support. I deal with the fact that you're only looking at not only the loss of your freedom, but public humiliation, loss of a career. It's devastating. I think I've talked more people out of committing suicide than most psychiatrists in the world.
Is that right?
Yes, I've had people in my office say to me, my family would be better off if I were.
Last year, singer Cassie Ventura filed a lawsuit against Shaw Combs, accusing him of exploitation and a decade of physical maltreatment. The allegation shocked the music industry and launched an avalanche of legal claims against the mogul. It also launched one of the most high-profile federal intimate crimes investigations in recent years. On September 17th, prosecutors outlined their findings describing a large-scale criminal operation where Combs, also known as Diddy, allegedly exploited women with the help of his business empire starting in 2008. He pled not guilty the next day. If convicted, the 54-year-old faces a sentence ranging from 15 years to life in prison as the founder of Bad Boy Entertainment and a major figure in the commercialization of hip-hop. Combs' estimated net worth of $1 billion doll adds another layer of attention to the case. To defend himself, he has turned to Mark Agillo, a seasoned attorney with a strong track record in complex racketeering cases involving criminal enterprises. Agillo, a former Manhattan assistant district attorney and supervisor at the U.S. Attorney's Office, worked closely for nearly 2 decades with Cole's longtime lawyer Ben Brofman. Brofman, affectionately nicknamed Uncle Benny by Combs, has represented him in numerous high-profile cases over the years.
To bite my tongue and not say, you're right. Because for the next couple of years, they're going to go through living. If everything works perfectly, we're going to be able to save you. But it's got to work perfectly, and you've got to be fortunate, and there's got to be some divine intervention, and you've got to be quiet for the next 2 years while everyone in the city is, and the world perhaps, is kicking, the head. view, and we got to sit in there and take it on the chin, but the objective is to win.
Brofman successfully defended Combs in the criminal trial stemming from a 1999 nightclub shooting in New York, and later handled several civil suits, including accusations of assaying a partygoer and threatening a choreographer on making the band. Brofman also represented Combs when Ventura filed her lawsuit, which ultimately set off the current criminal investigation. Now in his 70s, Brofman's legacy is deeply intertwined with his decades-long work for Combs.
100% in the innocence of your client, or is your job to ensure that the opposition, the prosecution, can't prove 100% your client's guilty?
Every case is different. Every case is fact-specific. But it's never my job to determine whether my client is 100% guilty or 100% innocent. I have found in life that there rarely is black and white. There's a lot of gray. And in most of the cases I work on, white-collar cases, for example, the facts are rarely in dispute. It's what was in the person's state of mind at the time he or she did what they're accused of. My job is to make the system work fairly. America needs good criminal defense lawyers because we keep the government at check and we keep the system working properly. And when you have the government on your tail, it's daunting. It's overwhelming. Most people panic, and it's unlike any other adversary. It's the government. It's the United States of America against X, and the only one standing next to X is me.
Earlier this year, Mark Agnafilo and two colleagues left their previous firm to start their own boutique criminal law practice. Agnafilo and one of those colleagues, Tenny Gagos, now leading Sean Cole's defense, have a history of representing high-profile clients accused of serious crimes. This legal team is known for assembling top-tier criminal defense lawyers with aggressive strategies for handling men accused of harsh federal crimes. Notable collaborators have included Arthur Adalia, who represented Harvey Wynn, and Jennifer Bonin, who defended R. Kelly and Bill Cosby. I specialize in sensitive and high-profile matters, Agillo has said, referring to his experience with cases brought by the Southern District of New York. His past work includes high-profile prosecutions like the Black Market website Silk Road and the International Exploitation Ring, linked to Governor Elliot Spitzer's downfall. This same U.S. Attorney's Office is now prosecuting Combs retained Agillo and Gargost in March to handle his federal case. By September 17th, Agnafilo revealed in court that they had spent 6 months preparing for the expected charges, including interviewing multiple witnesses. Ago's approach to the case is clear challenge the government's narrative head-in. He argues that the women and adult workers involved with Combs interacted with him willingly, whether for money, career opportunities, or personal relationships. We are not merely making general denials of guilt, Agan wrote in a September 18th letter regarding Cole's bail denial. Rather, we are advancing detailed, specific facts that undermine the government's theory at its core. According to Agillo, the exploitation charge centers on a single accuser, Combs' ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura. While their decade-long relationship was toxic, Agillo maintains that no intimate crimes occurred using a strategy often seen in celebrity defense cases. He plans to portray Ventura as a resentful ex who aimed for a facile windfall by threatening to sue Combs and write a tell-all book about their relationship.